Hi, I'm Zainab.
And I'm Orion.
And we're in Chapel Market Angel asking the public their opinions and questions about climate change.
Let's go. What are you guys' biggest concerns for climate change?
Just sort of like what the future is going to look like, because that's something that we can't like exactly predict. We can see like little outlines of what might occur, but it's very unknown, and that's quite a daunting thought.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add?
I mean, I kind of always imagine like the world to just like continue and like just be quite linear, but with the way things are going, it's quite daunting to see how things are going to change, and like that kind of fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
Especially this summer, there's been so many kind of fires, and there's what's happened in Maui and like the fires in Canada. I think we've all been sort of talking about it, but feeling like quite like distant, and like we can't really do anything. So I think that like taking steps and making like actual change and getting people really involved in trying to help is quite daunting, but we really definitely need to do that.
What do you think the government can do to tackle the climate change crisis?
Oh, good question.
Very good question.
What can they do?
I think they're doing the ULEZ thing, aren't they, to cut down on car emissions. So I think that's probably a good thing, but...
There's probably like bigger climate things we can do. Yeah. Like, yeah, it's good to get people to do the small things, like ride your bike and stuff, but there's probably the bigger things that the government and those with more money can do to increase like people in power.
Legislation,
yeah.
Stuff for like factories. I think it's the biggest scale.
It's the biggest scale.
It's all good us drinking all out of
paper straws, yeah.
Massive corporations are, making it just as bad. So.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on the ULEZ zone, and do you drive?
You got to answer that one.
Yeah, we do drive.
Yeah.
I understand why they're doing it, but it is a bit of a pain. But yeah, it's a good thing in general, but it is a bit annoying having to pay just to drive around London, but I do understand it. Yeah.
How do you think we can ease climate change anxiety?
Okay. I guess giving people responsibility, but not in a fear aspect, and give someone understanding what it means to them personally without making people fearful for their future. Because a lot of people are quite fearful of the future anyway. Yeah. So that shouldn't be something we drill into them, more just like the care of like, we love this planet, we love our home, and we should look after it rather than like the scare factor.
So, what do you think of climate activism?
I think the only problem with it is many people who do it aren't particularly well informed about the subject. But I applaud what they're trying to achieve. But I think if people did a bit more reading and a bit less shouting, it would be more effective.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Do you think the media is covering climate change effectively?
Absolutely not.
Could you elaborate?
Yeah, of course. There's a lot of people, and I happen to agree with them, think that one of the motivations behind national climate change incentives is to stop development in the third world. Because the third world needs to have an industrial revolution, like the Western world did. It's not going to be very clean, because they never are. But that's how countries develop. And by forcing countries who are not as developed to stay not as developed, they keep them under the economic jackboot of the West. So I think the media plays heavily into that agenda, to be truthful.
Interesting. All right. Do you think older and younger generations have different opinions on climate change?
I think they probably do. I think that the younger generation are more enthusiastic about it, which I think is good.
Yeah.
I think you guys are a lot luckier than I was, because you've got multiple sources and you're much more in contact with the world through things like the World Wide Web. So you can pick up information. But the downside of that is there's all kinds of false information. So you have the challenge of sifting through it. So, but I think the opinions of the younger generation now are a lot more valid than when I was your age.
Do you guys think that the media is accurately covering all of the stuff that's going on with climate change?
Definitely not, no. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, the media are there to sort of scaremonger and all of that stuff, but I don't think it's taken as seriously as it should be. If you have groups like Just Stop Oil who are having to become so unpopular to their own detriment just so they can get it spoken about on TV, I think that says a lot about where the media sits on it, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I got a follow-up question on that one. Follow-up question. What's your opinions on the Stop Oil campaigners? What do you
I'm 100% pro.
100%. Do you like how they are stopping cars? Or?
For a protest to be effective, it's never going to be convenient. If a protest is convenient, then there's pretty much no point in you doing it. I mean, they're exercising a democratic right. We like to bang on about how much of a democracy we are, but you know, people are more than happy to complain whenever they're slightly inconvenienced because they're literally telling us the world is on fire.
Literally.
So, you know.
And like a follow-up on that as well, is like, when is there a comfortable time to do something important? When will you ever be comfortable in your life? When will you ever be comfortable to pass a test that's actually important, to go to a protest that's actually important? There's never a comfortable time to just get up and do it. If you care about it enough, you're going to get it done, but clearly you don't.